Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the In Between the Stitches podcast. I am your host for today, Chase Olschwanger, as I readjust my headset, and I'm here with Brady and I's good friend, Jordan Swidler.
How you doing?
Well, we're certainly doing good. Little technical difficulties. I apologize if you were viewing the first stream that we did, but hopefully we're good now. I'm going to keep it up here, so sorry if I keep looking to my phone. I just want to make sure that the audio is good and what's in everything else, just so we can hopefully continue with this episode. But for right now, we're going to start like we always do with the Dallas Stars, 7-3-3, solid start. Excuse us if we go a little quicker. We kind of just talked about it already, so we apologize. But we were talking about a little bit of an inconsistent start. A lot of the guys who we rely on are doing their job, but it's everybody else around who needs to step up or whatever. Because just a little bit of inconsistent hockey play from a team that you would think is a contender and that was ranked the number one team going into the season. But again, Jordan, I'll let you rephrase what you said earlier about what your current thoughts on the Stars team, what you think they can do better, and what you see for their foreseeable future.
Yeah, I mean, I just was saying how I think that the coaching being just new has changed the team in a way that we can't really tell yet. I think it's one of those things where you got to kind of wait. I think 13 games is just like, it's a start. It's not a bad start to the year. It definitely isn't ideal per se the way they've been playing consistency wise, but I could see it ironing itself out throughout the year. I do think that they are pretty much, unless they really play under their expectations, they're pretty much a lock to make the playoffs. So it doesn't really end up mattering a ton. The seeding is really what's going to end up mattering. I think.
Right. I mean, hockey's one of those teams where 8 seeds have won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those, same thing with baseball. Okay, we're all good now. Sorry, I was confirming audio is all good. So yeah, we know baseball and hockey are those sports where it's like seeding. Yeah, of course it matters, obviously, because everybody wants to have home ice, but getting in, and that's the most important part, because in hockey and baseball, anybody can win.
Yeah, and I think going from a coach like DeBoer and switching up your scheme is a big aspect of what's changed, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it changes over the course of the year. But I think this is a multiple year thing. You can't really throw it all onto just this year, especially given the fact that, there's a lot of guys that they've signed for multiple years, that you're not talking about these guys being 1 year rentals. So, listen, I'm looking forward to more Stars hockey. I'll be going to a game sometime soon, I'm sure. And I'm really excited to kind of see how the season goes. As with basketball, the wins do matter just as much early in the season, contrary to what people seem to think, but, there's less pressure early on. So it is completely normal for a team to be figuring out all their different, things they got to figure out. And I think that going forward, they'll have a great season.
Yeah, totally agree. And like we said earlier, Stars, they have a game tonight versus Anaheim Ducks, who are 8-3-1. That kind of wraps up their 2-game homestand. Then they have a game on the road, then back home, then 2 games on the road, 2 games at home. So they're kind of going back and forth, a lot of travel for the Stars. But hopefully they'll be able to prevail and continue to keep playing above par hockey and showing the team that they are. But going to the lesser of the Dallas teams, and the team that quite literally nobody in the Dallas Metroplex is happy with, the Dallas Mavericks, who have fallen to the last seed in the Western Conference. And this is not a joke. It is the last seed in the Western Conference, tied with the New Orleans Pelicans, who they just lost to last night, 101-99. Look, Jordan's a Lakers fan. He's been on the show multiple times. If you know him, he's a Lakers fan, but he feels bad. And you're kind of at a loss of words now. It's kind of just like, I don't even know if I really want to watch games going forward. I mean, if it wasn't for Flag, who's playing well, by the way, it's awesome to see that. And we have some bright spot in this team for a future, but it's really hard just to sit down and just watch the games. Back when the team was, 2 years ago with Luka and Kyrie and that great team that was, had a Super Bowl contending window, or not Super Bowl, an NBA championship window.
Championship games.
Yeah. Like Dumont said, the championship games for, a 10-year window, that's all over now, and every loss doesn't hit the same. But look, Anthony Davis, who you traded your franchise player for, hasn't played more than 2 games yet this season. They're 2-6. There's just not a lot of promise. And look, you still have to give, obviously, fire Nico to the end. Even when he's fired, you still say fire Nico. But you have to give him the benefit of the doubt that Kyrie hasn't been on the floor, AD hasn't been on the floor, so he's still has his vision in the back of his head that this team can be a championship competing team with everybody on the floor. But it's just, as each game goes on, it's really, really hard to keep giving him that benefit of the doubt. And Jordan, I know you're a Lakers fan. You're on cloud 9 right now with how obviously Luka's playing. And obviously we still love Luka and we're loving what he's doing. I mean, obviously you couldn't care less about the Mavs, but
I want to go that far.
No, not that. You care for us because of what happened to our franchise. But what are your current thoughts on the team, the NBA in general?
Sure.
And you can, throw in the Lakers a little bit there too.
So the first thing I'll say is when I moved to Dallas originally, or Denton, it was 2018. And for those of you guys that know, obviously, what was going on at that time, Brunson had just gotten drafted, Luka had just gotten drafted. The city was in a spot where I think the future looked really bright. I really, truly felt like the Mavs were a team that I wanted to follow. Like, it's a team that I wanted to adopt and kind of, in a sense, just like I did with the Rangers, like root for them when I could. It's sad, man. Like, I have a lot of friends, obviously, that are Mavs fans, and it's tough. I can talk all I want about how great the Lakers are and how great Luka is, and I'll talk about Luka in a second, but I want to first just say that I understand that this is probably one of the hardest things that a fan base can go through, and that there's very few situations that are ever even comparable to this. So, I don't even want to I don't want to sound like I'm gloating when I'm talking about the Lakers. It's still my team. I'm still going to root for them, but, I don't think that anything should have gone down the way it did, and I've said this before on the podcast before. I mean, it is what it is. But looking forward, I think the Mavs still have a promising young future in terms of having Flag and having some good pieces around him. I think they're going to have to make some moves over the next year or two to kind of shift the team to a different focus. They're going to have to kind of rebuild in a sense, which is just an awful thing to hear when, they had their franchise player a year ago. But, they're going to have to do what they have to do.
Yep.
If Nico gets fired in the process, then it's a win-win there at least. It'll never be truly a win, but the closest you can get to it. But I'll talk about the Golden Boy for a second. Luka has been unbelievable, as I'm sure all of you have seen. I think I really do truly believe, and I haven't really said this a lot, but I think that he is motivated. I think that he has shown that all the talks about him being a bad defender, all the talks about him being overweight, all these things. And listen, some of them were kind of true. I think a lot of it was because he was coming off an injury, honestly. I think that was a big portion of why he was out of shape last year. So I'm not going to say that he's always like that. But this reminds me of second-year Luka. That's what he's playing like right now. And, look, would I love for him to be doing it in a Mavs uniform? Of course. The thing is, the Lakers have embraced him and made it clear that they want to build a team around him. JJ loves him. His relationship with AR has been really fun to see. And I know this is probably hard for a lot of Mavs fans to hear, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but I just want to say I think he's fitting in pretty well. And I really am appreciating how much effort and care he puts into the team, as he always does. That's his whole thing. But watching him passionate every day about this sport and just being as good as he is why everyone loves Luka. So, I implore you, if you're able to try to watch a game or two with him and see how well he's playing. If it's too hard for you, I understand. But, he really has been incredible. And I think that as stacked as the West is, for looking, a little bit farther out just at basketball in general right now, the West is very stacked.
Yeah, really hasn't looked too good this year.
They haven't looked that
really
great.
Hasn't
I know.
Looked that good.
And honestly,
outside of the Thunder.
No, I really feel like, honestly, after watching both the Thunder and Lakers games last night, I can say very confidently I think they're the two best teams in the West. And I think the Thunder looked kind of iffy yesterday. Now they're missing their second best player, so I don't want to act like
they're still 8. They're still 8.
Yeah, they're 8-1 now without their best player. They barely lost the game yesterday. Let's not pretend they're not the best team in the league. They still are. But I think the Lakers have a real shot this year with LeBron coming back. It depends how he ends up showing up. I think that there are a lot of teams that are underperforming. Timberwolves have not looked very good this year. There's been some teams that have just been kind of iffy in the West, and I think it's wide open. I mean, the Trailblazers talk about a team that's young and hungry. So just some random shouts, but I've watched some great basketball to start the year. I want to shout out Wemby and just how amazing he's been. He actually had a really rough game yesterday, but I think that the one weakness he has is that he is susceptible to fouling because of how big he is. It's hard for him to kind of get always in the legal guarding position. So I think teams are going to take advantage of that.
And refs don't help him out at all either.
No. I think teams are going to take advantage of that. I think they're going to try to go at him a lot. And I think that idea of attacking the rim protector has become now something that people understand a little more. So, I hope that games are not like last night's Lakers game where there was 82 free throws, 84 free throws, which was 2 or 4 off the all-time record.
Yeah, crazy.
So I hope we don't see more of that crap. But I would say overall, the league has been it's in a good spot. Except for the Mavs, it's in a really good spot, man. I gotta be honest.
But no, backtracking, real quick before the end, before we move on, you mentioned about the Mavs potentially having to rebuild, and how crazy that sounds. Just because a year and a half ago they were playing for an NBA championship. I've seen a lot of people bring it up, and my dad as well has brought it up. The idea of trading Anthony Davis, obviously, that would just Nico's ego couldn't do that because he traded Luka for this guy. But I think they might just be forced to do that because this team isn't going anywhere. They're not. And if you really want to build it around Flag and embrace Flag and really try to get him to take over, obviously no one's replacing Luka, but when it comes to being your 18-year-old rookie phenom coming into the league who eventually will take over your team, you're going to have to put Flag in uncomfortable situations and really make it his team. I mean, Luka came in with 40-year-old Dirk. Dirk was out there, jogging down the court, but he was, he wasn't Dirk. Obviously, that was going to be Luka's team. It was Luka's team immediately from the jump. Averaging 20 points his rookie season. You knew it was going to be Luka's team. I think we have people, Ryan's in the chat saying trade AD and Kyrie, start the young. Yeah, I mean, look, I disagree with Kyrie because I think Kyrie has shown unfortunately, obviously with the injury, it's a little unfortunate, but he's been on the floor when you need him to be on the floor. You need one of those leaders around Flag to help, give him more of a future. But you're going to have to talk about some uncomfortable situations that you might not want to be put in when having to trade Anthony Davis because you have to build the team around Flag. I mean, AD's not getting any younger. He's not getting healthier. You can't, and Nico obviously can't bring it to, you can't even fathom trading him because you traded your franchise player for AD. You traded him. You traded Luka for AD.
I mean, look.
And you can't, your ego cannot, you can't do that, but there's going to be some hard decisions that are going to be made here. I don't think this season because I think Dumont is going to give Nico the benefit of the doubt, like we said earlier, in letting his vision play out with Kyrie, AD, Flag on the floor all together.
His vision of Flag, sure.
His vision of magically getting the number 1 pick and with a 1.8% chance. I know Brady's giving me air quotes right now.
After there's an injury, after the trade,
yeah. This is 100% his vision. But no, you're going to have to give him the benefit of the doubt with everybody on the floor together to see how they play. But it's just a really unfortunate situation. Obviously, we've brought it up for 2 years or for a year now, and we're going to continue to bring it up. But
I mean,
you were saying, yeah,
it's hard to make words. Yeah, I'll say one other thing on it. Look, guys like Clay. We talked about this a little earlier, actually, before the podcast. But guys like Clay, Najee, a few of these other guys, like they came there. Part of the reason they came, if not the whole reason they came, was because of Luka. Yeah. And they're still great players. I'm sure they'll find a home in whatever team they end up in, but they're not going to be Mavs after probably the next year or two. And the reality is I think we know this. Obviously, it's kind of saying the unsaid, but when Nico made the decision he made, it kind of affected everyone else in a way that wasn't necessarily just on a level of, oh, we lost a teammate. It was on a level of, oh, we bought into this whole idea, a whole goal of what we wanted to do. And they joined a championship team, a team that was a contender for hopefully many years and, are now kind of lost. So I'm sure that they will find their footing. And I don't even know what team they'll end up on, honestly, because it's kind of just open. I mean, I could see Clay even going back to the Warriors or something. I don't even know. But what I'll say is they will find their home somewhere. But it just sucks for Mavs fans to have to deal with that. I will say that, Flag is a great player. And I think that as the years go on, it will get a little easier because they will hopefully be better. But obviously the wound will never heal. So.
Of course. Yeah. And yeah, you said it best. I mean, it is unfair to the players. I mean, all the criticism that the Mavs team is getting, and look, nothing is addressed towards the players directly. Even AD, it's not his fault he was traded.
No, he wouldn't have wanted him traded. I mean, he wanted to retire a Laker.
If everybody could go back to how it was, AD would love to go back to LA, Luka would love to come back to Dallas, and you move on. Unfortunately, that's not how it's not going to work that way now. But look, I mean, it's just a very unfair circumstance for all these guys to be in because, look, at the end of the day, all the Mavs fans, of course, we love our guys, PJ and Lively and Gafford and Chrissy and AD and Kyrie and Clay, all the guys. we want to embrace, we want them to win a championship. But the way that everything went down, everybody's putting Luka ahead because that was our guy, and you ripped his heart out and you just threw him aside. And you don't just get, oh yeah, we'll just forget about that. We forgive you for doing that, and we'll move on and embrace everybody. That's not how it works. I mean, it's just a messed up situation, and I feel bad for all the players because they know we're not, criticizing them. But they have to play. They have to play under it, and they have to play under this whole mess, and be the professionals that they are, and just play basketball. But it's just we'll move on. From the NBA talking about that. Obviously, this will be brought up every week, most likely, just because of that's how it's going to be going forward. But we're going to move to MLB, and we're going to give Brady a call here in a minute as well. He's going to join via Bluetooth, so we will be able to call him here in a minute. But we're going to talk quickly about baseball, the World Series concluding, all the managerial hires around the league so far, and Bruce Bochy, former World Series champion of the Texas Rangers, Bruce Bochy, agreeing to become an assistant for the Giants. I mean, we kind of all knew that if he wasn't going to return to the Rangers, we knew he kind of wanted to go back to San Francisco, where his dynasty began. And I'm happy for Boch. I'm happy he's still going to be around baseball because, he's that great of a baseball mind, deserves to always be around baseball. And he gets to go back to where it all started. It's the Skip Schumacher era now. But we're always going to be grateful for what Boch did for this franchise. But, all around the league so far, I have a list here. There have been so far, let me get it here. There has been 8 managerial hires and close to 9 with the Rockies. But right now we have the Padres hiring Craig Stammen, the Braves with Walt Weiss, Nationals hiring Blake Butera, Twins with Derek Shelton. I do know Derek Shelton, and I'll let Brady go more into depth when he gets on here because this is obviously his forte. Tony Vitello for the Giants, which was an awesome hire out of Tennessee, I believe. We'll see how that translates from college baseball to professional baseball. The Angels with Kurt Suzuki, and obviously, like I said, the Rangers with Skip Schumacher. And unfortunately, Mike Maddox joining Kurt Suzuki on the Angels staff. We talked about it last week with Brady saying this is a necessity to come back with the way that the pitching staff was this year. Mike Maddox is the best pitching coach in all of baseball. You need to bring this guy back no matter what. Unfortunately, it did not work out that way. And the Rangers are going to have a whole new staff. We'll see who Schumacher brings in. So we're going to go ahead and get Brady on the call here. Let me real quickly connect back to here. And we'll recap the World Series, the managerial hires, the Rangers, with him on the call.
I want to say I think Skip's going to be a great coach, honestly.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Your host is here, ladies and gentlemen. Brady, how are you doing today?
Yeah.
We can.
You can, I can.
Oh, I guess Jordan can't hear you, but I can.
That's fine.
I'm sorry for that.
You're good.
Brady, how's it going? How are you doing on your cruise? Can you hear Brady? You might be having some technical issues.
Cruise Wi-Fi, baby.
And there goes the call. There, cruise Wi-Fi for you.
As my wife knows, cruise Wi-Fi is
We will
rough.
see if we can get him back on here. I know he'll probably call back if he's able to. But he's giving a call right now.
Dubs 99.
Let's see here. Brady, can you hear me? Brady, can you hear? We can kind of hear you. A little audio is a little messed up, but we can hear you.
I'm on ship Wi-Fi right now, so
there you go. You sound clearer now. Whatever you're doing right there, that sounds a lot better.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm kind of getting to a spot where I think it'll be. I'm at the elevators suck for Wi-Fi. So
wait, I'll kind of recap you here. We're just talking about the managerial hires and
it's about
and everything going on in the baseball
I've been
world.
listening.
Okay.
So I'll go managers first, then we'll go World Series. So like Blake Butera, to my knowledge, no relation to Drew Butera, because that was my first thought. I think he was it looks like he was a minor league manager somewhere.
Okay.
Got hired Nationals. The Rockies actually just hired Paul DePodesta as their president of baseball ops. That like just broke like 10 seconds ago.
Oh, well, perfect timing.
If you don't know who that is, that's Peter Brand from Moneyball, Jonah Hill's character.
Okay, so hopefully he'll be able to turn the
He was
Rockies
Billy
ship
Bean's
around.
He was Billy Bean's right-hand man.
Currently.
Then went to the Browns and famously tried to imitate Moneyball on the football world. It did not work at all. But he's now the Rockies. He's back in baseball. So, but anyway, of course, Tony Vitello is probably the most interesting manager, being the first college baseball head coach.
Yeah.
They don't call them managers, call them head coach, to transition straight from college to the MLB. Obviously, it's a little more common in the NFL. I know that it has happened in the NBA. But it's first time for baseball. So it's a very uncommon thing. Tony Vitello, obviously, has led a powerhouse Tennessee. Baseball. They just won a national championship, if I'm not mistaken, or they went to one.
Yeah, I think it was Tennessee Vanderbilt,
They
I
did win.
believe. Or was it?
Yeah. They did.
Yeah, I think Tennessee
He's
did
had a
win.
lot of success.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see, especially when it comes to like development, being a college coach. But who else got hired? That is, oh yeah, Craig Stammen as the Padres manager. He used to pitch for them. They pitched for them for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a decent relief pitcher. So it was not someone I had heard was getting his name in the manager ranks. Obviously, Derek Shelton is kind of a lame duck in Minnesota. I hate to say it like that, but he's kind of we're hiring someone that has experience because we suck right now and we're just trying to get better. And he'll hold the fort down until I think it's kind of the plan with him.
It's a winnable
Who
division.
else?
It's
Who
a
else am I
winnable
missing?
division, so we'll see what happens there. But I think did you cover Walt Weiss with the Braves?
Well, Weiss, I believe he played for the Braves. I know the name. I know that he's been in documentaries I've seen. I know he's been mentioned.
Okay. and
So
then-
I know the name.
yeah, and then Craig
He played in like the
Alvarez.
80s, 90s. Yeah, he's one I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
And then obviously we got Skip Schumacher, who I'm very pleased with. Wish we could have retained Mike Maddox, but
Mhm.
it's whatever. I do like that we picked up Alex Cintrone as our hitting coach, or as a hitting coach from the Astros, where Rangers fans would know him as. And I actually, despite he's come to the light side, away from the dark side, I can forgive it. But you have to talk about the World Series
Of course.
in what was one of the best baseball games I've ever seen. It's not the best Game 7. I know people are trying to say it is. I will always argue that obviously to be the greatest game, you got to have the high stakes. So like Game 6, Game 7 is like the only two to me like true qualifiers.
Yeah.
Nothing will ever top 2016.
That's actually
And
very fair.
it's Game 7, and it's not just because it was a great game. It was a phenomenal game with about 25 similar to this game. I think they were very similar games, right? In that there's about 20 different storylines. When you sit down and analyze it, there's about 20 different storylines within that one singular game that also branch into the rest of the series.
Right.
But you will never have two teams that have had not only the longest drought in your sport without a championship, but the droughts that they had, they weren't like 20-something years. The Indians haven't won since 1948. The Cubs hadn't won since 1908. You will never have two tortured fan bases like that coming together in a Game 7 that ended up being that level of quality. It will never be matched, ever.
There's very few games that I've ever watched where I knew exactly where I was, and it wasn't my team, especially for like a title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could tell you exactly where I was
think-
when I was doing that night. I no doubt in my mind, and I was in Chicago, so like I was definitely in the
Yeah.
thick of it. But
I can not only tell you like where I was, like I can tell you specific moments, like when the Cubs brought in Chapman. I looked right at my dad and I went, "Well, they're screwed. They pitched him too much." And then just
Little did
we
you
had
know.
what we called what me and him called, no offense to him, RIP, but the Tim Wakefield feeling. When my dad in 2003, he was making himself a sandwich during that game, 03 LCS, and he heard that Tim Wakefield was coming in. He just said, crap, I got a bad feeling. I don't know why, but I got a bad feeling. And he gave home run to Aaron Boone. So I've dubbed it that. I hate to disparage Tim Wakefield like that, but, you know, we just both kind of had that feeling, but nothing will ever top 2016. Not ever. It's just, you will never have a game with, I mean, you have probably the two most tortured MLB fan bases, at least two of the top four in that game, in a game 7. After it was, you'll never match that level, all of that. This one, I think, matched it. I think this one matched it in terms of pure gameplay. This one probably matched that. And it might have been a little better because you had the fact that you had a game-tying home run in the night.
Yeah.
Right. But
You had two
it's the Dodgers coming off a championship. You had that. It was arguably a better game. I am inclined to say it probably was slightly a more entertaining, better baseball game quality. But you have a team coming off of a World Series, the highest payroll, the juggernaut, the new Yankees, whatever. And then you have a team that, yeah, they haven't won since 93, but it's not like the Blue Jays have been starving for any amount of success, quite like the Cubs and the Indians were at the time in 2016.
Sure.
Right? Hell, the Cubs hadn't even made a World Series since the 40s? My dad would know. It had been a long time before they even just made a World Series, let alone won one. At least Cleveland had gone for one and had gone to 2 in 97 or 95. But no, it was a phenomenal game. I think that, you know, obviously you saw that 51 million people watched it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Worldwide. Like triple. Now, of course,
Japan
people are getting, you know,
non-MLB
fans. It's like triple what the NBA had for their Game 7. And, of course, all of the NBA fanboys are getting really pressed about, but baseball's a more worldwide sport. They're trying to say baseball is more worldwide than basketball, when I've been told by basketball people that basketball is more worldwide. So you need to make up your damn mind, is my opinion. I would argue that baseball is more worldwide than basketball. That's my opinion. When you factor in the Latin countries, and how popular it is there. But no, I thought it was a great World Series. I'm excited for next season, and as I've said, I don't want to be a doomer, but we need to enjoy this next season because I don't know what baseball is going to look like afterwards.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Brady, I want to bring up to you because I want to hear your opinion on this. I actually brought it up to Jordan, I think last week when we were talking about just overall Game 7 performances. Obviously, we don't like how it resulted, but does 2011, does that series, that Game 6 and Game 7, does that rank up there? Obviously, we don't like the outcome, but was that not up there for one of the best games?
I saw people comparing this to Game 6. And the reason I will always argue that probably the there's been a lot of gut-wrenching losses in baseball. 97, the Indians blowing that one comes to mind, 2011. But see, to me, the two that will always come to mind, and Cardinals fans are going to gripe that I don't mention 85 and Don Dankinger, but I'm not going to. The two I think most gut-wrenching, especially for being a Game 6 loss, was 86, the Red Sox having 2 outs, being up by 2 in the 9th, and they blew it.
We're running out the same situation.
Again, the Rangers then see, and then obviously you just have single, what was it? Single, I think single, wild pitch, scored a run, that tied it, and then Mookie won it with his, single through Butler's legs. But the reason I am biased when I say this is I think the Rangers will always have the most gut-wrenching Game 6 loss is because of the fact that you were 1 strike away twice in the same game.
Yeah.
And that's just it's a very rare occurrence. But for Blue Jays, no, I definitely felt the gut wrench. I'm watching in a hotel room because it's we're down in Webster, getting ready to leave for Galveston the next day, and I'm watching it, and you just kind of think that the Blue Jays have it.
Yeah.
They got Hoffman coming in. This is their guy. You want your guy on the mound. We wanted Neftali Feliz on the mound. You want your guy on the mound for that last out. And it looks like it's one of those, you kind of forget what he actually threw, and I had to go back and watch. I believe it looked like a changeup that he meant to fade it down and in, and it went down and middle.
Yeah,
it did not fade enough inside. And Rojas, who's a decent player, he's not a bad. He's just he's at this point a veteran role guy. He's as we like to say, a glue guy in the sports world.
Mm-hmm.
He blasts one. And then, you want to talk about, if I was teaching a class about how to read a stadium, Exhibit A on being able to literally hear all of the air be removed from a ballpark, or just a sporting venue, you could hear the silence in Rogers Center. You could. That is, to anyone that's not a sports fan and maybe doesn't understand what that phrase might mean, I would show them that moment to really illustrate just how a crowd can go from on the verge of jubilation, right, to be 1 out away, and then you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah, crazy.
It just felt like all of that air, all the momentum got sucked towards the Dodger side. And I thought that the Blue Jays rallied in the ninth, and I thought, are the Blue Jays going to be a team that are known as the team that almost blew it, but came back, and then Pajas makes just such a phenomenal catch.
He dunked on Kike Hernandez.
Because
I also want to say IKF's. I call it a base running blunder. That's what I would say. That's I think it's some Bush League stuff.
There's that. There's two moments there in that bottom of the ninth where I really thought the Blue Jays obviously have a chance to win it. Number one is, and for Blue Jays fans to get mad, no, Will Smith, I think his foot came off, and then he got it back on before IKF got his foot down.
Shouldn't have been in a close play. Shouldn't have slid. He shouldn't have been. He took a short lead, didn't get a good jump.
He shouldn't have slid. And the reason you shouldn't slide, and this is why when people, and you guys have played in with the show with me, and it pisses me off as a baseball guy, people slide into first base. People don't know. People don't know. The point of sliding is not to get there faster. They've done studies. Sliding actually slows you down.
It definitely does.
No one, very few people, unless you're Pete Rose or a very select few of crazy people, no one slides full speed.
Yeah.
You typically slow a little bit when you're ready to slide because it's just a natural reaction that your body has because you're at the dive to the ground and you don't want to do it full speed and hurt yourself. So you do it as a self-preservation. You don't even maybe realize you're doing it. You slide not to get there faster, but to avoid a tag. That's the whole point of sliding, is to make them, the defender, try to find where your arm or your foot is and try to get it. Right? That's the point. It's to throw moving parts at the guy trying to do the tag. That's the point of a slide. Yeah. It's a 4-shot at home.
Yeah, no reason
you don't have to slide.
Yeah.
There's no reason to slide.
He also took such a bad jump. You have to be ready to go there.
See, the bad jump hurts more, I think. He clearly did not get because the bad jump isn't just a bad jump. I can tell you with some of those Rangers fans, IKF's a good base runner. I think he got a bad read on the ball. And look,
shouldn't matter what you
also have to factor in.
Force out. That's
how I feel. You got to be sprinting.
I'm not gonna call myself a genius, but I've seen no one else discuss this point. The night before, the Blue Jays had literally lost a game because they had a guy creep too far from the bag.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Barger.
And I think in that moment, IKF was worried about it happening to him in Game 7 on that stage. It's a line drive caught, and he goes there. I'm just saying, when those guys came to the ballpark that night, the last taste in their mouth from the previous game was a guy drifting too far off second base, a great catch in left field, and they doubled him off. He was too far. I think it was a subconscious, I don't want to do that again, so I'm going to take an ultra conservative lead. Is it the wrong decision? Yeah, it's the wrong decision. But I think that no one is trying to see, this is why I try to figure out why. Why is he, well, I think he's doing that because they probably talked, before that game, hey, we don't want that to happen again. We don't want to get doubled off in a critical moment. And IKF clearly got a bad read on the ball. I don't think he had his bad jump was because he didn't read it well.
Sure.
And he was worried about getting doubled off. And so he was just, he
also
didn't want to creep too far off.
He didn't take a lead as far as the third base coach had said he should. He put a line in the sand and he was a step behind it.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're typically, as someone that's played some baseball, your coach will dictate a lot to you. You have the ability to just not listen, but then that really falls on you.
I mean,
because you didn't listen. Right? You're
that's
going
not
off
the situation.
script,
I'm not
but,
listening.
Typically, the reason the third base coach in that situation is to be an extra set of eyes for IKF, so that he doesn't have to do it all himself, and he can. The third base coach's sole job there is to help IKF not make a mistake. But no, it was, and then the catch, and once they got out of that threat, I really felt like it's just when can the Dodgers get that hit?
Yeah,
it's going to come. It's just when is it going to be there? And then the Brewers were just dead. And I felt sick for those guys because they had it, they could taste it,
Yeah, and I want to give a
snatched away from them.
Before we conclude the MLB segment. I want to talk about. I don't know.
Is he on?
I want to talk about just Brady. I mean, Yoshinobu Yamamoto and the performance that he gave throughout not only just the entire regular season, but the playoffs and obviously in this World Series. And then obviously the managing by Dave Roberts. I think it was maybe the best managing I've ever seen. I mean, he outmanaged John Schneider 100-0 in this series. I think it was super impressive to see what he did.
I'm going to be honest here. And the Blue Jays have a great team, and I do think that Roberts was the better manager here. But when you have, I don't think Schneider made any huge blunders that make me go, yeah, that was just a dumb. What the hell are you doing there? What's your one?
My one is in the 18-inning game. Obviously, he didn't go 18. He took Barger out for Straw, and I think it was a terrible decision. I'll tell you why. You're already in extras when he took him out, and Barger's, I would argue, just as good, maybe a little worse of a fielder. He's a great fielder still, and you're taking out one of your best bats in the lineup for a guy like Straw. Straw was put in two situations after that where he basically any hit would have been massive, and Straw doesn't hit like Barger. And I think that was actually that's my only thing that I noticed all series where I was like, I think he should not have done that. Taking out Kirk in that game was fine. Kirk was tired. He catches, like it's okay.
That's fair.
But
the thing with 18-inning game, managing an 18-inning game is just, I mean, I don't even want to imagine how difficult that is.
I'm not gonna armchair act like I would have done better. I'm just saying, you know.
No, I know. And I that was something that I think I noticed too, that taking out a bat, you substitute a bat for glove. The Indians got caught with that when the Cubs got a run on third in 2016, and they took out Coco Chris because he couldn't throw the ball very well. They put in Michael Martinez, and guess who's the last at bat of the series?
Yeah.
When they could really use a hit, Michael Martinez and not Coco Chris. So, you have to make those decisions. And I think in the moment, it's I don't consider it too much of a blunder, only because did he take out Barger so Straw can run?
No, it was a
defense.
defense, and that's why it didn't make a lot of sense to me, because Barger's a good defender. It wasn't even like you had to put
He's
better, but it's not like
then to me that doesn't make a lot of sense. That doesn't make it, because if it's like, okay, Barger is a clod defensively, but we're gonna and if it's bases loaded and a fly ball can win it, sure, put Straw out there, because if they get the fly ball and it's Barger, it doesn't matter if he comes up in a few innings. There won't be a few innings.
Yeah.
Right. It'll be over. So you have to manage for the present. But I thought Roberts also having a guy like Yoshinobu Yamamoto who's willing to pitch that much, even at the potential detriment of his own elbow, his own health, is a really nice thing to have in your back pocket. And he was just, I mean, nobody could solve him in this postseason.
Yeah, he was.
Nobody had any answer. I mean, I think he faced the Reds. They didn't have an answer for him. The Phillies had no answer for him. The Brewers definitely had no answer for him. And the Blue Jays just had nothing.
Yeah.
They could not beat Yamamoto.
Yeah, it's insane. Extremely impressive. You think the more you pitch, the more you see him. And especially in a single series. He had 5 different appearances in this series, and they didn't see him once. I mean, it's just...
I mean, imagine if he came in at 18-inning game.
Yeah.
Like, that means that he's like the winning pitcher in like all of their wins in the World Series, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it's just insane what he did this postseason. It's legendary.
Yeah.
Legendary. And, Ohtani wasn't all that impressive in this series, honestly. If you were someone who didn't know a lot about baseball and you were watching this and you kept hearing about Ohtani, yeah, he had a few moments, but he wasn't the game-breaking. He was game-breaking against the Brewers.
Yeah.
He killed the Brewers. He didn't kill the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, honestly, outside of the walk-off, they held Ohtani, Betts, Freeman in check.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty well, actually. And I have to applaud them for that because they at least employed one of the most common, old-fashioned, and honestly best strategies, which is, I've said this before on the show, I'm going to force you, if you're going to beat me, I'm going to make you do it with somebody else.
Yep.
I'm not going to have Ohtani beat me. I'm not going to have Freeman beat me, and he did, but it was an 18-inning game, so I mean, come on. I'm not going to have Betts beat. I'm going to make you go off of these guys. Who has like the 3 last home runs for the Dodgers? It's Max Muncy, Miguel Rojas, and Will Smith.
Yep.
No disrespect to any of those 3, but none of those guys are going to Cooperstown 5 years after they retire, like the other 3 guys. So you got to applaud the Blue Jays for making them beat them with somebody else. It's just that the Dodgers were able to accomplish that.
They did.
And if the Blue Jays close it out, I'm going to come on here and talk about how the Blue Jays strategy worked because no one else stepped up for the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's a whole new narrative.
In a way that, so
History's written.
you hopefully, exactly.
Yeah.
How you look at it will be decided by the outcome.
Yeah. I mean, couldn't have said it better myself. But Brady, while we have you here, we're going to get to football because we got to because of the delay, the technical difficulties to start. We apologize for that. But yeah, I mean, obviously to start, I mean, what the news that came up late last night, earlier this morning, Cowboys.
There were rumors.
Huh?
And then it got reported like in the afternoon, like about 10 o'clock, I think. So
yeah, I mean, but nonetheless, Marshawn Nealon, Cowboys defensive end, draft pick from 2023, second round pick, or 20, passed away. Like, I guess he passed away last night.
It sounds like that they found him at 1 in the morning this morning.
It was a whole, again, not all the details are not out yet. It was, I believe, a car accident, and then he fled the scene, and then there was a gunshot wound that they found later on. But nonetheless,
so I've been
just an awful.
I've been reading about it, and
go ahead.
There's been a little more updates, some smaller ones that so basically he apparently, according to his girlfriend, has struggled with mental health before.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
and had texted them and his family that he was going to commit suicide.
Yeah,
and obviously being very concerned, they called the police to do a mental. I think they call it a mental health check.
Yeah, welfare. Yeah.
They get to his house. He wasn't there. It sounds like I've heard 2 things. I've heard one that they found him speeding like at 150, 160 miles an hour on the Dallas North Tollway, and that they were going to pull him over for speeding, and they didn't really know it was him until they saw the car. And I've also heard that they tracked him down and found him speeding, and it was because they were looking for him. So we'll believe whatever you want between those 2. They located him in the car going that fast. He was able to evade police. He was going northbound when they found him. Then when he lost them, he was going southbound. He crashed. It does not. I am assuming it was just his car. There's been no details about whether he hit somebody. Or if it was just him.
I hope there was no other.
Kind of sounds like. I think this is just some speculation here. I don't want to speculate too much, but I would imagine that if someone else was involved, that would have been mentioned in the initial police report. And then they conducted a search. They noticed that he had fled the fleet. He had fled to the scene, and they found him a short distance away. Not a short, but he had walked some wasn't like right by the car, and they found him with a self-inflicted gunshot wound,
Yeah, I mean,
which is it's
just an awful situation, and mental health is it's the real deal. I mean, we don't want to we don't talk about it too much, but look, it is the real deal, and there are people out there that can help, and there are people out there that can give you support. You just have to be willing to ask for that help, because there are people out there that will help get you through whatever problems you might be going through. And just at the end of the day, not only did we lose a football player from our favorite team, but he lost his girlfriend lost a boyfriend, his mom lost her son, and it's just an awful situation. And I feel obviously for his family, we send our condolences to them and to the Cowboys. Just a freak incident, and just mental health, it can take over. And it from seeing him score a touchdown on Monday Night Football to then now talking about him not being here anymore, it's just a crazy escalation. And we send our condolences to him and his family and the Cowboys, like I said, and just an awful situation.
I'll also say
this is from I was listening to. I'm sorry, Jordan.
no, you're fine. I was gonna say that I I don't have a lot to add outside of just remember, those of you that are watching, just the best thing I can say is you are cared for and loved, and there's always someone out there that would care if you ever went through something like this. That's how it always is.
Yeah.
Even if you don't feel that way, that's what depression does to your brain. It tells you that nobody likes you or wants you there, but people do. And look, like, the classic mo money, mo problems I said to Chase earlier. Like, sometimes when you have all the fame, the money in the world, you have your dream, things are going the way you want them to go. Doesn't really change necessarily how you are mentally. If you're going through stuff, it's not just going to go away magically. So just, be grateful for what you have, and just make sure that you, thank the people and love the people around you all the time, any chance you can get.
Yeah. And go ahead, Brady, before we move on to just the upcoming week and recapping the past week.
I was going to say that I was listening to DLS. And I don't want to keep adding status to the situation, but I think it was Clarence Hill that said that he believed his girlfriend was also pregnant.
Oh,
Which just adds an extra layer. I mean, look, everyone's, from I've seen Wanye Thomas to Matt Rule to
Micah,
Kevon Frazier. Micah. I've seen everybody. Apparently, Glenn Gillespie at his press conference today, that was the first thing he talked about. I mean, look, it's. I was on a taxi to the beach, and I had like about 5 seconds of internet that came in, and I just saw Marshawn Nealon died, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Because this guy's he's just 3 years older than I am. Like, what the hell could have happened? And so I was trying to, and so that, I mean, it's when an athlete dies, it's very startling, because you think of these people as the best conditioned, disciplined. They've got it all going for them. They've got money. This guy had a girlfriend. This guy potentially had a baby on the way. You'd think that he's just scored a touchdown.
Very young,
Who's got it better than this guy?
End. Yeah.
And clearly, he had struggles that no one knew about, or that people may have known about, but no one outside of maybe his family knew about. And I feel for his teammates too. I mean, it's, unless you've played team sports like that, it's hard to understand the bond between your teammates. It's not just an office where you go to work and your coworkers, and it's, you're out there. I don't like to say you're fighting a war, but that sounds a little bit harsh, but you're working hard alongside your teammates. You play with them. You probably go eat dinner with them. You eat breakfast with them. You watch film with them. And you get into their families. And it's just, I mean, I will say that, and I've seen this from somebody, and I really liked it. And it was that if there was a coaching staff in the history of Cowboys football to be best equipped to handle something like this, it's Schottenheimer. It's these guys to have a support system to rely on each other. It just creates such a, I don't know how to describe it. It just creates such a weird vibe the rest of this. I mean, because it's so tough.
Yeah.
Trying to wrap. I mean, I'm just a guy that enjoyed watching him play, and I'm struggling to wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what his family, what his teammates are going through. It's.
Yeah, and I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll hear in the next, day or two, or next coming week, we'll hear from Jerry and from Schottenheimer, from Dak, more guys that, obviously are staying quiet right now because it's just a completely shocking and unfortunate situation. But I'm sure we'll hear
Last
more
thing
throughout the
that
week.
came to my mind was like two of the most advocational people for mental health
Dak.
are Solomon
And
Thomas
Dak. Yeah, that's what I
and
was
Dak
saying too.
Prescott.
Yep.
And so it's unfathomable, really. It's really hard to. I mean, I remember this just feels so similar to when Tyler Skaggs passed away, and it was just like, what? It's so stunning. You have no idea how to react.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Hopefully, and I will say that maybe thankfully we're on our bye week. The guys don't have to go play a game on Sunday. They have some time to process and breathe.
yeah, I get some for sure. Yeah, I mean,
But I mean, it's
again,
just
yeah, it's a terrible situation, and next week I'm sure we'll have more information on it. But for now, again, we send our condolences to he and his family and to the Cowboys. But we're gonna move on to a little more positive news, just within the football world, starting with the Cowboys and what they have done. They have traded a 7th-round pick for Logan Wilson, and I was like, okay, yeah, a 7th-round pick. You're essentially getting him for free, pretty much at that point, for a pretty good linebacker. And then
7th-round pick is equivalent to a $1 scratch-off ticket.
Yeah, but then
you might win a little bit.
Jerry's talking about we made a trade. We made a big trade. He says that all the time, and it never really does. Never really means anything. We kind of put it to the side. All right, Jerry, fine, whatever. We'll see it when we'll believe it when we see it. Couple hours before the trade deadline ends, big splash. Cowboys trade for All-Pro Quinnen Williams for Mozzie Smith, a 2026 second-round pick, and a 2027 first-round pick to acquire not only one of the best defensive tackles in all of football, but one of the best defensive players in all of football. And
who else would you rather have? A D tackle. Who else would you rather have?
I mean, you can
Probably
debate Chris Jones, Dexter Lawrence, and that's probably
That's
it.
I could think of.
I mean, that is probably it. And you can debate Quinnen Williams better than
there are two others. No, there are two others I think that come to mind with Jeffrey Simmons and minus the off-field crap, Jalen Carter.
Yeah. I mean, but look, there's
those four.
There's not many.
Those
You can
four,
debate Quinnen better than all of them. You can debate it. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying you can debate it.
Yeah.
I mean, Brady. I mean, first thing I saw was wow. Or first thing I said was just, oh my gosh. I mean, not that it's going to be a huge impact into this season because of how the season's gone, but looking forward, I mean, wow. I mean, this is a massive move, and this is the best defensive tackle we've had maybe since Leroy Glover. I mean, talent-wise, David Irving.
No. The best defensive tackle since those 3 games, since the insanity run of David Irving.
That's what I was saying. Talent-wise, David Irving was on another level. 2016 David Irving was unbelievable. But, I mean, this is one of the best defensive tackles you've had in the history of your franchise.
Because we have to address the morons at all the networks today that are, what kind of trade is this? This is a dumb trade for the Cowboys. Look, this isn't a trade for the 2025 Cowboys.
Yeah.
Sure. Will he help us win some games this year? Yeah, he will. But this isn't a chance. This isn't trading for a guy for this season. This is the 2026, 2027, and 2028 window you're going to have, right?
Yeah.
Where if you re-sign Pickens, you'll have him, you'll have Lamb, you'll have Dak, you'll have all these guys under contract. Those 3 years. This is a guy that you trade for to anchor your defense, right?
Yeah.
And look, you can't draft in the second round anyway.
Yeah.
I like.
The Cowboys could have not hit a second round pick in I don't know how long. Nealon probably would have been. I look back at the last 10 years, and it didn't talk about this is before obviously today.
I didn't consider Nealon yet because he's still in his second year, still
Yeah.
developing.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. But I went back to 2023 and beyond. And I found like 4 guys that I thought were actually impact players. And it was DeMarcus Lawrence, Chidobe Awuzie, who else? Trevon Diggs.
But then
I
recently
think
you have
in
guys like
20
Luke Schoonmaker and Kelvin Joseph, who, I mean, we know how that
Yeah.
went.
There's Shoemaker and Kelvin Joseph and Sam Williams and none of those are like fantastic talents. Tristan Hill. You could argue Connor Williams in 2018 was a decent pick. Ended up being a decent player for you.
Yeah.
But you cannot draft in the second round. Ezra Rocky is like the first guy since Diggs that I'm like, this guy has potential to really, this guy's got something,
Yeah.
right? So I'm fine. You can't draft there anyway. Trade that second round pick. F that pick. I really love how this pick, how this trade is structured. Number one, you got football terrorist, right-hand man of Saddam Hussein himself, Mozzie Smith, off of my football team. He's gone. He can hook. I hope he blossoms somewhere else. We don't have the right schemes for him. I'm very interested to see if he goes somewhere where they put him at a nose tackle and he anchors a 3-4. But actually, I think we should move to a 3-4. But I'll get to that in a second. Sorry, I had like 5 margaritas at the resort, so I'm trying to
Wow, look at you.
stay upright right now.
Look at you.
I'm not drunk, but like I'm definitely definitely a little buzzed. I'm definitely a little bit. Anyway, I'll get to that in a second. With Quinnen, you still retain your ability to add 2 impact defensive players in next year's draft, or you could trade back and get more picks and try to throw the dart at someone else. That's why I like how this trade is structured.
Or
is
trade
you're betting,
or trade up for Arvell Reese or Caleb Downs. That's what I want to do.
yeah, but you're betting on next year you're going to be really, really good, because I don't know if you know how the deal is structured. It's a conditional first round pick. And what I mean by that is we actually haven't given them, it's not ours or Green Bay's yet. It's going to be whichever one is higher.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this in a trade before.
I mean,
Usually
it's going to be
it's conditional.
ours.
It's if the guy play, like we actually have a conditional pick in the 7th round this year because the Chiefs traded us that for Peyton Hendershot, and he had to play a certain number of games, and he hit that total. So we actually have a free 7th round pick from the Chiefs this year.
Yeah.
That's usually how conditional picks work. If this happens, right, if this guy plays this many games or does this, you get that pick or it moves up. I've never heard of it where you get one of them, but everyone's higher. It's a very fun structure, but you're banking on, okay, the Packers are going to be good, and we're going to be good,
I hope so. Yeah.
right? So if they're both late 20s, maybe even early 30s picks, who cares, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you play the Packers in next year's NFC Championship game, then you hit a home run with this trade. You traded a late first and then a 2nd round pick and a roster filler for a guy that can be a top 3 in his position and anchor your defense through this next window. And I really like the trade value that you got. And I'm very, like I said before, with us moving to a 3-4 front, we've seen it with Flus against the Cardinals and against the Broncos. You saw more 5-2, 3-4 looking fronts. I think he's going to throw more of them out there. Because now, so what you do is you have Quinnen and Kenny rotate as a 3-tech, 4-tech, and nose. Osa is a 4. You're going to move, and then Ezra Raku and Clowney are your 2 starting outside linebackers, technically.
Yeah. Right.
They're both standing up. They're both out there. But, and I even put in my draft evaluation for Ezra Raku. I think he fits best in a 3-4. We'll see how smart I am. But I'm very interested to see. Logan Wilson, look, 7th round picks, again, are the equivalent of a $1 scratch-off ticket. Sure, could you win $1 million? Yeah, you could. But odds are you're going to win nothing.
Yep.
So you might as well trade it for somebody that honestly is just I think, a slightly better version than Jack Sanborn.
Yeah, I agree with you. Doesn't hurt.
So, and hell, I think he'll be better than Kenneth Murray. If he can be better than Kenneth Murray, we'll be in a good situation.
I agree with you because then
But this was a
Overshown
trade
expects to come back
that you
next
made.
week as well. So
Same with Rebel. So you made this trade. I mean, sure. Is there a pigeon fart chance that you can make the playoffs this year? Sure, it's a chance. But I really think that this is a trade that you're making so that next year when you draft two guys, maybe you sign a couple free agents. Who knows? Now we're in a situation where our window is reopened and we're going all in for these 3 years to try to capture a championship with guys like Quentin Williams and blah, blah, blah on a contract.
well, then I mean, it all sounds like it's lining up in the direction that you are going to extend Pickens. But like I told you, you don't extend Pickens, all of this means nothing. As great as CD is, and as great as Dak
I agree.
is, you need
Because
two
if-
all-pro level receivers with Dak to space the field and to get like they're the number one offense.
You need
Obviously,
two
the offense doesn't look.
All-Pros.
Well, whatever. They are two all-pros. The offense obviously hasn't looked good the last couple weeks, but they
What
are the number one
you
ranked
would have to
offense.
do, what you'd have to do is now it forces you to pivot to probably to draft a receiver in the first round next year. Instead of being able to draft maybe a linebacker, a corner, a safety, another edge, or somebody else, you'd be forced to use one of those picks on receiver or to try to find a veteran that you want to add because Jalen Tolbert is not going to freaking cut it.
But I mean, look, Jerry extends Pickens and Aubrey and Javante. I feel like I'm looking forward
I'm
to next season.
inclined. I'm honestly inclined. Give Jordan a 3-year contract. Look at his agent. Look at Mulugeta and say, look, we don't want to give him 36, 37 million. We'll give him like 32, but we'll give you 3 years. So that way, and effort, fully guaranteed, 3-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
That means that Pickens would be able to sign another big contract in 3 years, probably. So, we're telling George, we want you here for our window, and we want you to have a chance at another big payday in a few years. So we're just going to do a 3-year deal for you, but a little bit less AAV. So it helps us out, helps us allocate money to. And Quinn's contract is very team friendly. Even if you added some money or did some stuff with it, it's still very team friendly.
I mean, it's half of what Micah got.
So you're probably looking at now. Are you looking at potentially getting rid of a D tackle in the offseason?
Yeah, it's going to be Clark or Osa is going to be gone because you can't pay 3 defensive tackles $20 million or more. I don't know
if they're going to be gone. A contract will definitely be restructured heavily. But we will have to see. That is for the offseason. I'm very excited for the trade.
Yeah, when you're, and we'll cover more obviously when you're back here in person and you're running the show with me here next to you. But for now, because we're really crunched on time, we're going to get into our predictions for the upcoming week before we conclude the episode.
Now, for context,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and gloat. By the way.
Oh yeah, I beat him this week. Ha ha ha. I got him on all 3 games, meaning that I've taken a 2-game lead over Chase because he was up by 1. Now I'm up by 2 after this, so I'm very excited.
Brady already told me he's taking the Raiders tonight.
What's your record? Do you know?
Oh, I'm not taking that. The hell I am. Now, I will say this. I don't have my notebook with me.
Okay.
So hopefully we don't have any disagreements, and it'll be easy for me to remember when I get to my room, because if I go to my room, the internet...
I can note it down, Brady.
You write it down. The internet's going to cut out if I go to my room, I don't want to lose the show.
I can write it down. I got it.
All right, you ready?
So, all right, Brady. And Jordan's going to give his predictions as well because he's here. The Raiders and Broncos kick off tonight. Who are you going with?
Here, we need an order. I'll go first. Chase, you go second. Jordan, you go third.
Well, I'll just go last because I'm technically the host for this week. So I'll give my
okay,
last. Give us privilege.
So Brady, who do you got tonight?
I'll go first. I got Broncos.
Okay, Jordan.
Broncos 30-13.
Oh, you're giving a score as well. All
Just
right.
for this one.
All right. Brady said Raiders, so I'm going to go Broncos so we can have a disagreement here.
What? Hey, whoa.
No, I'm joking. I'm taking the Broncos as well, but hopefully Brock Bowers has a monster game because I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm getting screwed in fantasy right now. So I need Brock Bowers to have a really good game too.
I think we all want Brock Bowers to have a good game. But okay, we all got Broncos for the Thursday night game. London game or wherever it is, Colts or Falcons at Colts.
It's in Germany. Colts for sure.
Brady?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Colts.
I'm going to go Colts as well. Then we got the Saints, Jordan, your Saints, at Carolina.
I mean, I'm taking Carolina, but I mean, I think we can win this game. I was telling Chase we're gonna split this series this year. I think we'll probably win one of them, but we're not gonna win this.
Have
one.
y'all played each other yet?
My phone died.
No, I don't think so.
Interesting. Surprising division matchup.
I don't think we have faced each other yet. No.
Okay, well, Brady? Brady, are you here? Hello, hello. Did he cut out? It still says he's on here. I mean, I know he's going to go Carolina, so we can mark that off. Until he is back, I don't know where he is. Brady, we cannot hear you for whatever the reason may be. But try to work on your end. We're going to keep going on our end here to conclude. Giants at Bears. Who you got?
I got Bears.
I agree with you. I mean, nothing too out of the ordinary so far. Jaguars at Texans. Remember, CJ Stroud is out for this week.
I'm picking Jaguars. I think without CJ, they don't really have a shot.
Yeah. I was probably going to go Jags anyway, but I'm going to take the Jags as well. Bills at Dolphins.
Bills.
Simple enough. Bills as well for me. Ravens at Vikings.
Ravens. If Lamar's healthy, I think they're the better team.
I totally agree. Ravens as well. Browns at Jets. This is a
whatever. Browns. I don't like this at all because I think both teams are bad. But I'm gonna go with Browns. I think they'll just win because the Jets don't have players.
Yeah, I mean the Jets just traded. We didn't even talk about it. I mean Sauce as well to the Colts, a blockbuster as well. I mean there's just so many things that happen. We'll cover more next week as well as we're a little bit of a time crunch. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Browns as well just due to the Jets not having their all pros with them anymore. Patriots at Buccaneers should be a good one.
So. This is the one matchup all week that I actually think might be a tough one. I'm going to go with Patriots just because I think they're the real deal. I really think that they have built a team that is resilient and is able to beat good teams. I think this is a prove-it game for them. I think they want to show where we are as good as our record says.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to take the Patriots as well. I was leaning Bucks going into the week because the Bucks are coming off their bye, and hopefully we're going to get Bucky Irving back and Chris Godwin back. Obviously, Evans is out for most likely the whole season. Maybe towards the end of it, he returns as Brady joins us back on the call.
Okay, so my phone got to 3%. Okay, I got it on my portable charger, and then it went 210.
All right, awesome. Real quick,
in like 3 seconds, my phone went 3%. Okay, so what game are you on?
We'll backtrack because you said Colts as well over Falcons, I assume.
Yeah, Colts, and then obviously Panthers over Saints. Sorry, Jordan.
Yep.
And then Bears, Giants, or Giants at Bears.
Bears.
Okay. Jaguars at Texans with no CJ Stroud.
Yeah, Jags. Easy.
Okay. Bills at Dolphins.
Bills.
Ravens at Vikings.
Vikings.
Okay, we have our first disagreement here. We both took Ravens. Browns at Jets.
Interesting. Okay. Whoa. Before I go, Lamar's healthy, right?
Lamar is healthy.
Of course.
You got one switch. You can make it now.
Healthy, right?
Yeah, I think everybody's healthy actually for each side. Aaron Jones, I think, was limited in practice, but I think he should be good to go. I think everybody's healthy.
I'll go with the Vikings.
Okay. Browns at Jets.
I want to make sure that I didn't forget. Oh God.
Yeah.
Browns.
Yeah, we got Browns as well, and we were on the Patriots.
Browns.
We're on the Patriots and Buccaneers right now. Jordan's taking the Patriots. What about you?
It's just a tough game. I mean, Bucks are without some weapons. Patriots haven't really faced a real team yet.
It's not true. They beat the Bills.
But the Pats versus Todd Bowles or Baker's healthy, right?
Yeah. So I haven't given my prediction yet because I was currently talking about it as you joined back. I was going to take the Buccaneers because they were coming off their bye, should be getting Bucky back, should be getting Godwin back, but it doesn't look like Godwin or Bucky is going to be playing this week. So I'm going Patriots. Who are you going with, Brady?
Yeah, you know what? Because the Bucks are down so many weapons on offense right now. Bucky Irving did not practice.
Yep.
Godwin didn't practice. Yeah, I'm gonna go Patriots.
Okay.
Only because the Bucks are just so decimated by injuries right now.
And then Cardinals at Seattle.
Seattle.
All right,
Yep. You said
Seahawks.
yeah.
Seahawks.
Yep. Seahawks as well. And here's a good one. Rams at 49ers.
This is tough. I'm going to be honest.
Rams.
I'm going Rams too. I think the 49ers are great, and I think they could easily win this game by like 10 or more if they play their best football. I think the Rams have the better shot as long as Puka is in the game. That's been their only thing this year that is
Still
limited.
Mac. It's still Mac.
Yeah, Purdy's limited. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if
Still
he'll be
Mac.
back. I'm still going to agree with y'all and take the Rams as well. So nothing to stress about.
I think
but-
we all could be very wrong, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the Niners beat them in LA
Yeah.
earlier to start the year with Mac Jones. I mean, you think there'd be some adjustments, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Lions at Commanders.
I got Lions.
Lions.
Yeah, Lions as well. And then Steelers at Chargers.
I have Steelers. I think they're really good, and I think the Chargers are a little fraudulent. They're not awful. They have a good team. I think they'll be a playoff team. But
I'm going
I have Steelers.
You're going.
Steelers
You're going Steelers.
only
right?
because the Chargers are down all and Slater and all those guys. I'm going Steelers.
If
Yeah.
they were healthy, I think I would definitely consider the Chargers. But like where they are at currently, I could see them potentially having a really kind of mid second half
They're
of the
a
year.
completely
So
different offense. Alt's out there versus when he's not.
Trevor Penning is not going to be the solution. I'm telling you guys that right now. Okay, look at me right now. Trevor Penning is not the solution.
No, I know that. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, it's Steelers here.
Yeah, I want to go Chargers, but I'm gonna take Steelers as well. Like Brady said, I think Joe Alt is that big of a difference maker to where, and especially with the Steelers D line with Herbig and T.J. Watt, I think that's just too big of a disadvantage that they have. And then to wrap up, Monday Night Football. This could be a 50-50 one. Eagles at Packers. Who you guys got?
I'm taking Eagles.
Brady, I'll let you get the last say. I'm gonna take the Eagles as well. But it's a win-win scenario for the Cowboys. Packers lose, you get a higher pick. Eagles lose, 1% chance of the division. Brady, you here?
Let me look at who's.
Okay.
I'm there.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
No, you're good. I think the only questions are AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley, but AJ just came out and said that he expects to play. Saquon, there's still no report on. If you want to use a caveat, which I am going to use one actually, I'm going to say if Saquon plays, I'm going to take the Eagles. If Saquon does not play, I'm going to take the Packers.
I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Okay. So we just have, I believe, one disagreement this week, Brady. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you have the Vikings and I have the Ravens. So, I mean, that'll be something that's easy to remember. So Brady, enjoy the rest of your cruise. Thanks for hopping on and talking with us. And thanks for helping me out getting this stepping into the host role.
Yeah, I know. I told my mom, like, the 1 week we have technical issues and the 1 week I'm not, like, there to try to fix it.
But I'm glad we were able to figure it out. So thank you guys again for listening,
Yeah.
tuning in. Brady, again, have a